Good morning, guys. Welcome to the third session of 7-minute grammar notes. As we discussed in the last session, we had picked up the error category of subject verb agreement, and we discussed the minimal basics last time. Today we'll start with discussing the various types of errors from this category, right? And we'll start with the and rule. Okay, so let's begin. Now, for those of you who might be watching one of these episodes of the series for the first time, this is a snapshot of the pedagogy of the course, जिसके ऊपर मैं अभी मैं ज़्यादा बात नहीं करूँगा, इसके ऊपर मैं already introduction में बात कर चुका हूँ. So the link to that video will be given on the end screen of this video, so you can follow that and check that out. Okay, let's start now. So yesterday, guys, we discussed how a singular subject should take a singular verb, a plural subject should take a plural verb, right? As simple as that. And what if you have two subjects which are both singular in nature, but they are joined by the conjunction and, right? In that case, what is the form of verb that one should use? Well, the thing is, if you have two subjects, multiple subjects joined by the conjunction and, then your consideration set for subjects is not then just restricted to just one of them. Then you have to consider both of them together to be part of the subject, right? And when you consider both of them together, you can see that now this will make up a plural subject, right? And if you have a plural subject, you've got to use a plural verb. Okay. By the way, guys, this is the symbology that we're using here. For the squares basically stand for subjects, and the arrows stand for verbs. Okay, and then one here basically represents a singular subject, right? Okay, let's look at an example now. So when you say Oliver and Alice were found waiting for more porridge, the Oliver and Alice, both of them at once are the subject, right? And hence, well, there's two of them, right? So you'll consider it to be a plural subject, and hence you'll go for were found to be waiting for more porridge. There can be multiple instances, like sometimes one of these subjects could be singular in nature, and the other one can be plural, right? Greater than one means plural subjects. So in that cases, again, the same rule will apply, like singular, singular, plural, or we'll see other instances as well. Let's look at an example of this. Oliver and his brothers were found waiting for more porridge. So again, doesn't change anything, because, well, one plus something more than one is also plural, right? So you'll still use a plural verb, like were found waiting for more porridge. You can take other instances as well, like if you have the plural subject coming first, and then the singular subject, and they are joined by the conjunction and. Again, we'll go for a plural verb. His servants and Darcy were found waiting for more porridge. Like, looks like everyone's waiting for porridge. And finally, if both of them happen to be plural, well, and they are joined by the conjunction and again you'll go for a plural verb, right? So people and their habits are not always amenable to change. So essentially, the rule is that if you have multiple subjects being joined together by the conjunction and, irrespective of whether they on a standalone basis, if they are singular or not, आप फिर भी वो subjects तो सारे plural ही माने जाएंगे, right? And you'll accordingly use plural verbs for them. Okay, so that's about that. But wait, there are exceptions, right? We are studying grammar after all. चीज़ें इतनी थोड़ी ज़्यादा simple थोड़ी रखेंगे आप. So exceptions ये है that sometimes what happens is that there are certain expressions and phrases which are made up of two singular nouns or subjects being joined by the conjunction and they have been so often used together, इनको साथ साथ में इतनी बार देखा जा चुका है that they are not seen as two different entities, they are seen as a single entity, right? You must have come across देखो काफी बार क्या होता है कि अपने कॉलेज में भी देखोगे आपके कुछ there are certain friends, you know, कुछ ऐसे best friends होते हैं वो हमेशा साथ में दिखते हैं कि वो, and then you start like and after like a few weeks or few months, if you see one of them alone, your first question is क्या वो कहाँ पे है, and so something on those lines, like for example, consider the expression bread and butter. Now bread and butter, obviously you have bread, which is a single standalone noun, separate noun, singular noun. Butter is also similarly a standalone singular noun, but they have been used together so many times that they're not considered separate entities now, right? In fact, bread and butter basically in a sense refers to the livelihood of a person, right? The way they earn their living. What's your bread and butter? क्या करते हो आप काम के लिए? right? So that's bread and butter. That's one of the meanings. Another meaning could be like the typical choice of breakfast in many countries, right? So in such cases, the idea is को आपको conceptualize कैसे करना है कि they have been used together so often that now they are considered as a single entity, okay, and hence you'd better use a singular verb for them instead of using a plural verb, okay. Let's look at an example. जैसे आप देखिए bread and butter is or are the staple choice for breakfast in most western countries. Well, obviously you will not use are, you'll use is, right? Because ये आपके दो singular subjects मिलके plural बन रहा है ऐसा नहीं है. It's basically just one singular subject. There are other examples as well. Hammer and sickle हो गया. The hammer and sickle logo has always been part of the Communist Party's emblem, right? Because has is the singular form of the verb, and because the subject is being considered as a singular subject here, although ये दो चीजों से बना है, but again this expression has been, these terms have been used together so ubiquitously, right? इतनी ज़्यादा बार ये साथ में इनको use किया जा चुका है कि now it's considered as singular. Other examples would be fish and chips is my favorite choice for weekend breakfast, not our. Screaming and shouting isn't going to solve any problems. Aren't नहीं बोलेंगे आप, isn't बोलेंगे. It is considered as a single idea of being hysterical, right? और भी examples हैं इसके. Slow and steady, you say wins the race, right? Rise and fall of nations. है ना? तो ये और भी, these are the some other examples now. So guys, in this part of the session, you can pause the video and try your hands at these sentences. Figure out which of these two words will be the, which of these two verb forms will be the apt one for these sentences. Okay. अगले next 2-3 सेकंड में I'll release the correct expression, so you might want to pause it now. Okay, see, very simple. मैं briefly आपको बता देता हूँ. Joey and his friends is not a colloquial term, तो exception में तो आएगा नहीं. And these are two subjects being joined by and, so obviously you have to use were here, not was. Was यहाँ नहीं चलेगा. Her school pals and Ginny, again not a colloquial term, right? Or exception again, that it doesn't fit into the exception. So again, two set of subjects joined by and, so you have to use are. You cannot use is. And finally, Ugwe always adhere to the dictum that slow and steady win or wins the race. So slow and steady is a colloquial term. So in this case, you don't use win, right? You use wins. So wins will be the correct answer. Okay. Finally, guys, about my introduction, I'm Anupam Mishra and I'm Lucknow alumnus. And you can know about my profile and my credentials by following this video here. To go to the next video of this era, you can click here. And well, by the way, one final question for you. The rise and fall of kingdoms are often predicated by the economic situation. Do you think this sentence is correct? If not, what do you think should be the correction? Type your answer in the comment section. Thank you so much. See you in the next one.